one day you care, you're so unfair. Sipping from your cup till it runneth over. Holy grail.
Hey guys, we're going to talk a little bit about order of operations today. You guys have looked at this on many different occasions in the past couple years, but we're going to rehash it a little bit. Okay, what I want you to do first, I want you to take a few moments. I want you to look at this expression right here, and I want you to try to evaluate it. Okay, so before you tell me that there's really no point in learning order of operations, I want to see what you guys get. Okay, I want you to evaluate that, see what's happening. Okay, so what's the point of having an order of operations? Okay, so there's a couple different ways that some of you are going to solve this expression up top. Some of you are going to go 4 plus 3, and that equals 7. Then you're going to multiply it by 5 and get 35. And then you're going to subtract 2 and get 33. Okay, so that's going to be a very common answer. Okay, but if you did it another way, some of you might do 3 times 5 first. That equals 15. You might add 4 to that and get 19. And then subtract 2 and get 17. Okay, so we did two different things, but we got completely different answers. So that's why we have order of operations, because if we do the problem in the exact same way all the time, we're going to get the same answers, and that's what mathematicians wanted to ensure. Okay, so let's come down here and take a look at the acronym that we have for order of operations. You guys have seen this many times before, and it is, okay, your rules are called PEMDAS. Where that acronym comes from is our PEMDAS, okay, or PEMDAS. The first thing we always want to do when we have one of these order of operations problems is to look for things inside of the parentheses. So anything inside of parentheses, you go first. Okay, so this is first. Okay, second is your exponent. So any exponent you see needs to be the second thing you take care of. Okay, now sometimes people get tripped up on this next step. Okay, if you have multiplication or division after parentheses and exponents, you look at them from left to right like you're reading. Okay, so whichever one comes first, that's the one you'll take care of. Okay, so that's your third thing you need to look at. And lastly, you are going to do either addition or subtraction, and it's the same as multiplication or division. You look from left to right like you're reading. Whichever one comes first, that's the one you're going to do. Okay, so this is our fourth step. Okay, so that is PEMDAS. Oops. Another way you may have heard it is the term, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, so please excuse my dear Aunt Sally is a good way to remember it. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so let's take a look at a few examples. Okay, we're going to work through each of these slowly. Okay, so we have minus 4 squared plus 24 divided by 3 times 2. Okay, so anytime we got to look for exponents first, or parentheses first. We don't have any. Then we have exponents, so you have to be kind of careful right here. You could either do subtraction first, or you could do your exponents. We always want to do exponents before subtraction. Okay, so 4 squared gives us 4 times 4, which is 16. So you now have minus 16 plus 24 divided by 3 times 2. Okay, now we've got subtraction and addition, then division. Okay, we always want to do division before we do subtraction or addition. So you have 24 divided by 3, which gives us 8. So we have minus 16 plus 8 times 2. And remember, we do a division and multiplication from left to right, so that's why we did the division before we did the multiplication. Okay, so now we have minus 16 plus 8 times 2. What do you guys think we're going to do first? Okay, we have subtraction, we have addition, and we have multiplication. If we look at PEMDAS, we're going to do multiplication first. So 8 times 2 is 16. Now we have negative 16 plus 16, and that ends up giving us 0 for our answer. Okay, so 0 for our answer on that one. Okay, so we're just going to keep practicing these a little bit. Okay, now let's take some time to look at this one. Okay, the first thing we look at is the parentheses, things that are inside the parentheses. Okay, so if we're looking inside the parentheses, we have 5 minus 2, and that gives us 3. Okay, then we always want to take care of stuff inside the parentheses, so we have our exponent inside that we want to take care of, and we have 3 squared, which is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. So now what we have is this. Okay, but we still want to take care of what's inside the parentheses, and 25 minus 9 gives us 16. So we have 4 times 16. And of course that gives us 64. Okay, so go ahead and take a look at that again if you want. Otherwise, we can move on to the next one. Alright, this time we've got division and multiplication. They're in the same step, so we're going to read it like a book. So this time we would do division before we did multiplication. Okay? So if you got 8 divided by 1/2, you could type in on your calculator 8 ABC, which gives you one of these, 1 ABC2. Push enter, and that should give you 16. Okay? So 8 divided by 1/2 gives you 16 on your calculator. If you multiply that by 3, you get 48 as your answer. Okay? Okay, before we keep going, I got an awesome joke for you. Okay, who is the girl with no arms and no legs who catches butterflies by herself? Think about it. Think about it. Annette. Great one. Alright. Okay, let's do a few more examples together. Okay, then I'll give you some opportunities to do some by yourself. Okay, so let's remember PEMDAS. We have to do what's inside the parentheses first. Okay, so we have minus 20 divided by minus 2. And then 4 plus 1 gives us 5. Okay. We still want to take care of what's inside the parentheses. So we have minus 20 divided by, and on the inside, if you have a number next to a parentheses, like you have right here, that's always going to give you multiplication. That means multiplication. Okay, so minus 2 times 5 gives you negative 10. Okay, now we have negative 20 divided by negative 10. So you have negative 20 divided by negative 10. And if you plug that in on your calculator, those cancel out. And then 20 divided by 10, of course, is 2. Okay? So if any of these steps confuse you, make sure you write that down as a question for tomorrow to look at in our groups. Okay? These are good things to discuss. Okay, a few more. Alright. Okay, let's take a look at this guy. Alright, like I just told you, on the top, if you have a number next to a parentheses, like right here, what type of operation is that going to give you? Okay, so that's always going to give you multiplication. Alright, so let's go ahead and take care of the numerator first. So that gives you 2 times minus 8, which is minus 16. So you have 5 plus minus 16 over, let's take care of the bottom. We have minus 2 cubed, that means minus 2 times minus 2 times minus 2. And if you have minus 2 times minus 2, that gives you 4. And 4 times minus 2 gives you negative 8 minus 3. Okay? So let's go ahead and take care of this. 5 plus negative 16 gives us negative 11. Okay, so we're done with that. And minus 8 minus 3 gives you negative 11. Alright? And then negative 11 divided by negative 11 gives you the big Uno. Okay? I'm going to try one more example, and then I want you guys to try some on your own. Okay? Okay, we got 2 times minus 4. That gives us negative 8 plus 22. And on the bottom we have 4 squared, which 4 squared, 4 times 4 is 16. Okay? I want you guys to realize that when you have a fraction like this, if it's the top or the bottom, it doesn't matter which you solve first. You can do the top or the bottom first, but you have to make sure that you either do PEMDAS here or PEMDAS here first. Okay, so it doesn't matter. I can do this multiplication right here before I take care of this exponent. So I want to make sure that you know that I'm not breaking the rules here. Okay, so we got negative 8 plus 22, and that gives us 14. And that's going to be all over 16 minus 9, which is 7. And 14 divided by 7 gives us our answer of 2. Okay? If you need a little help on that, you can rewind and rewatch. Okay? And these 2 questions right here are going to be your secret questions for the day. Okay, so take a look at those guys on your Google form. Peace out.